Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first retro review. Had a little problem in the watch party. There was no volume. So now I'm going to share this stream, and then we'll get into discussing the game. Okay. So October 23rd, 1960, the Buffalo Bills are 1-4 after they've been struggling through the early part of the season. They go up against the Oakland Raiders. First of all, let's review, since the last retro review was actually done inside a Facebook group, where the Bills have come from so far on the 60th anniversary. On September 11th, 1960, they lost the New York Titans in their first ever game, 27-3. Then on September 18th, they lost at home in their home opener to the Denver Broncos, 27-21. After falling to 0-2, they would get their first win on Friday, September 23rd, in Boston, defeating the Patriots 13-0. Then on October 2nd, they would lose to the Los Angeles Chargers 24-10 to drop to 1-3. On October 16th, they would lose to the New York Titans to get swept by them 17-13 and go into this game at 1-4. Now let's take a little bit, before we get into the game, I want to take a little bit of a look at what life was like on October 23rd, 1960. And thus, if you are a member of the Buffalo Bills History Club, you'll know that I post these events in the group, and I share some research materials. And that's what I'm going to do right now, is go through the research materials. One of the things is, a lot of you who watch my shows or follow know that I'm also a pro wrestling fan. Well, pro wrestling on October 23rd, 1960 was much different, as the NWA was king, the AWA was just getting formed, and the WWF was still 3 years away. On a website called cagematch.net, there's a list of events occurring, and you can search per day. And there were 4 events that occurred that day, 3 called Wrestling in Paris and 1 Wrestling in Dampart. Frankreich, which I believe is Germany. And that's where Pancho Lopez fought Stan Kovalik, and Gene Waynes and Carl von Kramer fought Guy Mercier and Yves Legrain. Now, meanwhile, in the Wrestling in Paris events, there were 3 different events listed. It was probably all one event, but it might be in different times of the day. Al Gamain defeated Pierre Bernard. Teddy Boy defeated Billy Catanzaro. That name I've heard of. Jackie Korn defeated Rene Marquez. Jack Bentz and Gene Bout went to a draw. Andre Drapp defeated Johnny Stein. In the second event, Ami Sola and Joe Labat went to a draw. Jacques Corderc defeated Cesar Franck. Dalmer defeated Guy Rabati. Roger Gautier defeated Dr. Adolf Kaiser. And Robert Duranton defeated Jose Arroyo. And in the third and final match, and I usually won't go over foreign events or non-big time, but this is the only one's happening that day. Roger Trigard defeated Doviskov. Jetty Coster defeated Moise Besh. Iska Khan defeated Guy Robin, and Sherry Beebe defeated Inca Pirano. Let's see if there's anybody watching. Okay, there's one. Moving on to other things that occurred on the Sunday, October 23rd, 1960. A website that I like to go to called Take Me Back To talks about various things that were going on, especially in America. The president of the United States at the time was Dwight D. Eisenhower. Famous birthdays included Luke Gerard and Mirwas. I'm not sure what all that is. Let's scroll down a little bit. Okay, movies playing. Popular movies. Saturday night and Sunday morning, starring Albert Finney, Shirley Ann Field, Rachel Roberts, Hilda Baker. Everybody Go Home starred Alberto Sordi, Serge Reggiani, Carla Gravina, Martin Balsam. That's a French one. Let No Man Write My Epitaph, starring Burl Ives, Shelley Winters, James Darren, and Gene Seberg. And that one's not American either. All right, scrolling down historical events. Chemistry Mole Day, astrology, the first day of the sun sign is Scorpio, and Western whatever. On Hungary, it's the National Day, Revolution of 1956, and the Proclamation of the Republic of Hungary in 1989, so that hadn't happened yet. All right, the birthdays: Mirwais Ahmadzai, French record producer and songwriter. Katucha Niana, French model and actress. She passed in 2008. The number 1 song in the USA on this day was Save the Last Dance for Me by the Drifters. Let's see. The Odd Man on television. The Odd Man, No Man's Island were two big shows. Okay, we'll go through. That's that. Next, sports. Okay, college football. If you go to Pro Football or actually SportsReference.com, and you can access college football and find out the scores. Here's some of the highlights from October 22nd, 1960. Number 17 Auburn beat Miami, Florida 20-7. Number 7 Baylor beat Texas A&M 7-0. Looking for other. Number 1 Iowa beat number 10 Purdue 21-14. Number 15 Kansas over Oklahoma State 14-7. Number 13 Michigan State beat Indiana 35-0. Number 6 Minnesota defeated Michigan 10-0. Number 2 Mississippi defeated number 14 Arkansas 10-7. Number 5 Missouri beat Iowa State 34-8. Number 4 Navy beat Penn 27-0. Number 9 Ohio State beat number 11 Wisconsin 34-7. Number 20 Rice upset number 16 Texas 7-0. 3 Syracuse beat West Virginia 45-0. Number 12 Tennessee over Chattanooga 35-0. Number 19 UCLA beat Stanford 26-8. Number 8 Washington beat number 18 Oregon State 30-29. So that was a good game. I did not see Georgia, Notre Dame. Georgia beat Kentucky 17-13. And Notre Dame did not appear. Control F Notre. Okay, they lost to Northwestern 7-6. Oh, what else happened on that day? Basketball. The NBA. The Boston Celtics beat the Detroit Pistons 118-116. The Cincinnati Royals beat the New York Knicks 119-117. It was the Hawks over the Lakers 112-96. That's the St. Louis Hawks. And the Syracuse Nationals fell to the Philadelphia Warriors 133-123. Oh, so I did basketball already. College, they don't have that. Website doesn't have a score, but I don't think they had started it at this point in the season. Hockey, Chicago Blackhawks over the Montreal Canadiens 4-2, and the Detroit Red Wings over the Toronto Maple Leafs 2-1. Let's see, that's War Memorial Stadium. Okay, on television that night, here's an interesting one. On ABC, Maverick at 7:30, a new episode called Maronera. Then at 8:30, The Lawmen, episode Yaki, brand new. A new episode of The Rebel at 9, Death Watch. A new episode of The Islanders at 9:30, Talent for Danger. And a new The Walter Winchell Show at 10:30. On CBS, you had a new Lassie at 7, The Renegade. A new Dennis the Menace at 7:30, Dennis and the Hamper. A new General Electric Theater at 9, The Camel's Foot. A new Jack Benny Show, The Dick Clark Show at 9:30. And a new What's My Line on at 10:30, which you can find on YouTube, by the way. NBC had a new Shirley Temple storybook, Little Men. A new National Velvet, Chip. A new 8:30, a new The Tab Hunter Show, entitled The Matchmaker. And at 10 o'clock, a new The Loretti Young Show, Love Between the Acts. Okay. The uniforms. Okay, now this is the... Actually, I'm going to have to show you on my phone what the Bills and Oilers looked like. I don't know why I'm clicking on things. Okay. So we need to go into groups. Buffalo Bills History Club. Events. Retro View. Okay. First of all, here's some pictures of what was going on. Where is the camera? On TV Guide at the time, I am leading psychiatrists examine you and the Untouchables. Sports Illustrated, The Long Stretch, a new look at sports clothes, and a report on the World Series. kind of white. Hard to see, I know. On October 23rd, 1960, the presidential election, there's JFK and Republican challenger Richard Nixon. And here's a look at the Bills Stadium where the game was played. Why is it so blurry? War Memorial. That's pretty scary, Bradley. Okay, so what was I looking at? Okay. Okay, the gridiron uniforms. Nineteen sixty AFL, Buffalo Bills. If you were just to plot back in the past and look at that game between the Raiders and Bills in that game, you'd have no idea who was playing. As you can see, the Raiders wore black and yellow striping, and the Bills wore silver and blue. You'd almost think it was a preseason practice between the Steelers and Jets, or not Jets. Sorry, Steelers and Lions. That's what I'm trying to say. Finally, the weather report. Using the Old Farmer's Almanac at almanac.com, I put in my hometown of Saranac Lake, New York, with a minimum temperature of -2 on that Sunday morning and a high of 8. So if you lived in Saranac Lake, New York on October 23rd, 1960, it would have been really freaking cold. And finally, if you go to YouTube and search October 23rd, 1960, that episode of What's My Line appears. Relentless. So since the first Bills victory, as I told you, they dropped 2 games, dropped to 1-4 to the Patriots. After beating the Patriots, they would lose to the Titans again and the Chargers. Before coming home once again to face the all right, Raiders. The Raiders come in the game at 3-3. All right. Sunday, October 23rd, 1960. Attendance at War Memorial Stadium in Buffalo was 8,876. So pretty small audience, relatively compared to the same kind of audience that watched tonight. In the first quarter, Ray Carlton got a 38-yard pass from Johnny Green. Bill Atkins hit the extra point when 23 seconds into the game, the Bills led 7-0. Must have had a good kick return. Then Ray Carlton got a 23-yard pass from Johnny Green. Bill Atkins hit the extra point in 12 minutes and 50 seconds. Maybe that was the length of the drive. I don't know. The Bills led 14-0. Then in the second quarter, Albert Dubenion got a 55-yard pass from Johnny Green. Geno Atkins hit the extra point, and the Bills led 21-0. Oakland Smith ran the ball in from 1 yard out. Barnes hit the extra point, and it was 21-7 Buffalo. Then Ray Carlton got a 32-yard pass from Johnny Green. Billy Atkins hit the extra point with 10:18 to go, or into the second quarter. Yeah, it does look like it's building. The Bills led 28-7. In the third quarter, Joe Hergert hit a 26-yard field goal to give the Bills a 31-7 lead. Then in the fourth quarter, Johnny Green ran the ball in from 2 yards out. Geno Atkins hit the extra point, and the Bills led 38-7. And then there was a safety. The Raiders scored a safety as the ball was snapped out of the end zone, and the Bills would go on to win 38-9 and get to 2-4. Some notes from the game. First bowl leaders. Your leading rusher for the Bills was Wilmer Fowler with 39 yards on 7 carries. Your leading passer was Johnny Green with 14 of 32 2 touchdowns and 243 yards. And your leading receiver was Ray Carlton, 5 catches for 110 yards. For the Raiders, your leading rusher was Larshide, 30 yards on 8 carries. Passer Tom Flores, 42 yards on 14 attempts, 7 completions. Yes, the future Tom Flores, the future head coach of the Raiders, who would win Super Bowls 15 and 18 and deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And your leading receiver for the Oakland Raiders was Gene Perbola, 25 yards on 4 catches. All right, now some notes. The Bills won for the first time at home as quarterback Johnny Green threw for 4 touchdowns and rushed for another in the best quarterbacking performance in Buffalo Bills history to date. Of course, that's only the 6th game ever played. Ray Carlton produced the first 3 touchdowns in team history on a muddy, rainy day. The Raiders had won 3 out of 4 coming into this game, but managed only 219 yards and lost 5 turnovers. Yes, I am reading directly out of here. Relentless. History of the Bills up to 1994. Wilmer Fowler ran 42 yards in the first play, and Green hit Carlton on the next play for the first score just 23 seconds into the game. So that answers that question. The score became 14-0 when Bills went 70 yards in 5 plays to another Carlton TD pass as Tom Reichlick's 35-yard reception was a key play, and Johnny Green had an 11-yard scramble. On a third TD drive, blah, 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 the Bills needed only 2 passes to Albert DeBenion, the Golden Wheels, to travel 65 yards. The Bills made it 28-7 late in the first half as Jack Larshide fumbled a punt, and Don Shelf recovered at the Raiders' 37. 3 plays later, Carlton scored on a 32-yard screen pass. Because of the small crowd, Bills owner Ralph Wilson figured he lost approximately $40,000 on this game. Linebacker Archie Matsos had 2 interceptions for the second time this season, and the Courier Express racing writer Phil Rinaldo wrote, and I quote, "The Bills will get a superior mud rating for their win on a rain-soaked field." Other games in the AFL that day included the Houston Oilers defeating the New York Jets 42-28, New York Titans 42-28, the Denver Broncos beating the Boston Patriots 31-24. Here's some quotes. Buster Ramsey, the Bills coach. "I have to thank my good friend Buddy Parker," that's Ace Parker from the Pittsburgh Steelers, "for Green. He was so sure of Johnny's potential that he kept him working with the Steelers even after he got Rudy Bukic to back up Bobby Lane. When I went looking for a quarterback to help, Buddy suggested I take a look at Johnny with the understanding that he went back to Pittsburgh if I didn't think he could help us immediately. All Johnny needs really is experience, and it looks like he's going to get it from now on. I don't think Johnny played up to his potential. He'll get even better." Johnny Green said, "I think the guys who ran with the ball after they caught it deserve the credit. It might have been the best day I ever had in football. It was certainly the best half. On most of my passes to Ray, he was the secondary target." Bills defensive end Laverne Torkson on his when asked about Green, "He can complete the money pass. He's tall enough to move back there and take a look. Last week we had some bad breaks on long passes, but the day he showed what he can do, and he doesn't throw the interception." Raiders quarterback Babe Pirelli on the Bills defense. "I never saw anything like it. The coaches kept telling us that they were tough, and we watched them in game movies. They were tougher to move against than any team we've played." And Raiders running back Wayne Crow, who will end up being a future Buffalo Bill, "I'm glad that's over. Everything happened like it was planned that way." So Buffalo gets to 2-4. They're still in last place in the AFL East, Eastern Division, heading into a showdown with the Houston Oilers on October 30th. So what did you think? If you'd like to see the highlights of the game, you can find the highlights by contacting me. I cannot sell them. It is not legal to sell them, but I can tell you how to get a hold of them. But until next time, I'm Vinny Vincent, and thank you for watching this first ever retro review. I'll have other things that I do with my Facebook groups. I figured to come here to YouTube to try to just increase a little bit of awareness about some of the past things I like watching. Tomorrow night, I'm going to have a video discussing a certain band television episode that has never been re-released since its original airing 50 years ago. So until then, I'm Vinny Vincent, and God bless America, and go Bills.